Yes. Damn. Just a little. Yeah. Oh yeah. To get the full experience, you do.
Yeah, I don't think you unmuted yourself. On the Streamlabs?
No, there's no mic. No, your mic's working. I think on your Streamlabs you need to pull your mic volume all the way up. Did you?
They said they do now.
Okay.
They said they do now.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. So the thing I remember most about Destiny Islands on the first Kingdom Hearts game is the fact that I could never find that one mushroom. Maybe it was. I don't know. You had to like scour the entire freaking beach for rocks or I don't remember random items to build your raft, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. The first time I played that game, I could not find one of the items to save my life. I eventually did. Now I know where they all are. But yeah, that sticks with me. Oh, you had to fish. You had to collect fish out of the water. Yeah.
You gotta get drinking water too.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, the thing that sticks out in my head the most is never being able to beat Riku in that race until I like tried for 4, 5, 6 times.
Oh
I
yeah.
could just not beat him. He was so quick, and I was so bad.
Yeah, that really stressed me out.
Yes.
Yes, we're in Discord with you.
So I'm not getting.
On the stream. Here, hold on. Say no, can't hear. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, babe. Okay.
I think you did a really good job recapturing like the innocence of the 3 main characters and just like having a good time and being like just like being friends on the island. Especially for me when I mean I was probably close to their age when the game initially came out too. So I was like, it felt like every summer, like school getting out, like
Oh my god.
8th grade, 9th grade, you know, and just hanging out all day. Which I think is why it was so effective when you left the island and things were going wrong. It kind of like gave you that sense of dread. You're like, no, but I just want to hang with my friends. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
the
that was very effective. I agree with that too. Like, definitely feel like everyone's just a kid in that game, and then the moment the Heartless show up and you have to leave, it's sad, it's depressing. You're like, no, I was just, chilling on the beach with my friends not too long ago, talking about pawpaw fruits.
Yeah, and then so they can hear me now. Sora's mom, everyone's like, "Oh, what about Sora's mom?" Because she's like, "It's time for dinner," and then he just kind of never comes back.
Yeah,
Years later.
he never mentions his mom. He's just like worried about looking for his friends.
I know, and like that's another thing I was kind of wondering. So like this Destiny Islands is like we see it in 2 a little bit, and it's like another island. Like it's like a wee little island that's off the main island. I was always confused about that. I was like, where are all the adults? Like, where are the parents? And so I guess I feel like it's maybe, and especially because this was made in what, 2001, it was a little bit more normal for kids to kind of find like their own hiding spot and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
for
like its
sure.
own like secret island away from the mainland island. Because I was like, how did they go to school and shit? You know, like I was always curious about that. So
Totally.
yeah, but I'm gonna
That's how it
rate
always felt for me.
what?
That's how it always felt for me. Is like basically there was a main city, town, whatever that was like coastal, and there would be maybe like a very shallow, I don't know, moat. I don't know what you want to call it. Where it's just like like the land dips underwater, just very shallow, and then here you have this like tiny little island that the kids just sort of makeshift into their own, special place. And that was the
Great.
vibe I got playing it for the first time. Was like, oh, this is like a place away from the adults and away from the real world, just like where they get to disconnect and just be in their own universe. So I thought that was cool, especially being a beachhead my whole life.
Shadow and you are in the wrong bubbles. I just got that. Yeah. Jacob, do you have anything to say about um
Yeah, I like Destiny Islands. It's just like you're just like running errands, so just kind of uneventful. Like I like the whole like setup for it and all. Just as far as like the game, I felt like it was just slow.
yeah, I love
I,
Destiny
I mean, I
Islands.
love the look of it. I mean, you actually do. It's just like I don't know. I always dread that part of the game. It's just like, oh no, I have to look for fish and for water and all that.
Yeah,
I
I can
mean,
definitely do that.
the track definitely slaps though. Love the theme for it.
Yeah. I give. I mean, I'm just gonna move on to rating. I think we've said all we could say about Destiny Islands because when we haven't really been able to explore it more, I always love coming back to it at the end. It's a beautiful thing, but I give it a 5 out of 5 because it is a beautiful place. What do you guys give it?
I give it a
Three,
5 too.
A
three
3?
for that race alone.
I'd
I
give
give
it
it
a
a
3.
5.
A 5?
I
It's a
think it
really,
was a
really
good
cool
launch
introduction.
pad and starting point for the game. And the
Yeah.
series.
And then
Wasn't wow.
Jacob, what did you give it?
He gave it a 3.
Ah, okay. So we just
Three
got
and
a
a half.
$100 donation.
Yes, you did.
That's awesome from someone who said
Wow.
they're 13 and we can't swear. So that's thank you, gay. I don't even know how to say that name, but thank you so much. Welcome and continue to stay. We'll stop swearing. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I think it also kind of brought in like the innocence and the peacefulness like of childhood. I I'm a children's literature scholar, so like a lot of the things I go back to with Kingdom Hearts is like childhood and innocence, so you'll hear that a lot from me. Also the Kingdom Key, that is my favorite key personally because it's like the staple of the game. I hated changing keys because I love this key. It's the one. So I mean, do you guys have any opinions about that?
Honestly, the last time I played Kingdom Hearts, I was pretty young, and I always just was playing Sora. I always picked anything that looked the coolest, and B had the best stats for just like melee attack. Because I didn't ever want to do like magic with them at all,
Right, yeah.
other than healing myself. Honestly,
I know it was hard as a kid to kind of like grasp that concept. It was kind of a good ease ways though into like RPGs of like casting and all
Mhm.
that. So,
I just think it didn't compare. Honestly, in the first one, I thought just melee was just better than magic in that game.
yeah. Um does anyone else have anything to say about the Kingdom Key?
Well, I mean, I think that there's some good run throughs with the game when you're trying to only use the Kingdom Key. I know for trophy hunters and stuff that's important. So I can think of worse keys to get stuck with.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can.
for sure. Yeah, but it's really nice. So now that we're done with Destiny Islands, if anyone else has anything to say, we go on to our next world, Traverse Town. And we do have a couple tweets. I do have a tweet reader today, so I'm not up against the camera. So our first tweet is from Lipur. I can't say the word. Go ahead,
Lilford.
Doctor. Yeah.
Traverse Town, legit the coolest atmosphere to me and such a lit soundtrack. Also, it's fun to come back and explore rooftops, look for postcards, and the hotel.
I thought it was very European-esque as someone who lives in Europe. Like I love going there because it's like even like it's very Germany to me with like the German designs on the houses and like I love Traverse Town. I was like, why the fuck did we never go back? So I don't know. What did you guys think?
I personally feel like if we as a group ever hang out in person, the two places we should go are one somewhere like Bermuda or the French Caribbean for,
Mm-hmm.
for for the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, and then we should also do like Christmas in Germany or Christmas in Europe
Oh
as
yeah.
like a like as a homage to Traverse Town, because that's the vibe I got. It didn't have like a wintry feel, but that's what it evoked in me. Was like, Europe in the winter. It felt very like I don't know, like I felt cold on the outside, and I was like, man, I want to drink some hot chocolate while I'm playing this part of the game, or
Yeah,
like some hot cider.
it was again very peaceful. Like another very even though we had some
Yeah,
Heartless, it wasn't as peaceful as like Destiny Islands, but it was still like a peaceful place. It was very nice. The people we met there were very peaceful too, our Final Fantasy characters.
yep, felt very like
I
welcoming,
was gonna bring.
warm.
Yep. I was
Yeah.
gonna bring up. You meet Leon. You meet Yuffie. You meet Aerith in Traverse Town.
You meet Sid as well.
Dead too.
You
Yeah.
meet Sid, and you meet Merlin. Very important to the story later. And Donald and Goofy. You meet a lot of people. Pluto.
Too.
It's a pretty like it kind of sets you up for the rest of the series, to be honest. It
Kind
brings
of the hub.
Yeah, it's where
Yep.
everything happens. It's kind of like and I had a random thing. How do we feel about Squall's name changing to Leon?
It was very
I,
dramatic.
I don't understand the point of it, to be honest with you. If I have to, like, I mean, everybody else had their name, they kept their name. They didn't really go into explaining why he wanted to change his name. It was not something that ever was in his game to do that either.
Hmm.
So it just seemed like a thing that they gave that specific character, but they didn't really bother explaining as to why. Yuffie still was Yuffie, Aerith was Aerith, Sid was Sid. So I didn't get the idea behind it, but
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah,
it was for me, since Final Fantasy VIII was admittedly like one of my least favorite Final Fantasy games. I didn't care. I thought Leon was a cool name. I was like,
Like,
you
whatever.
told me perfect.
I thought it was because like in my like childhood head because I played this game. Actually, I played 2 first. I played 2 when I was 12 and then I went back and played this game. I have a story about it. I'll maybe tell at the end. It was kind of funny. So, remember seeing like Leon. I was like, "Oh, maybe they just like really regretted naming him Squall and decided to change the name." Because I'm like, "Why what kind of name is Squall?" Like, like I always think about that and I always think like, "Oh, they just went back and they changed his." I don't blame them if they were doing that because I would do it too if I was Squall, so or if I was a game developer. But um, yeah, we also have another tweet about Traverse Town. So let me hide this one. We have one from John. What does that one say, Doctor?
I really dug Traverse Town. It was a nice homely hub with lots of different Disney and Final Fantasy nods. Also made for great gameplay because the repeated returns unlocking new areas. Thank you for saying that. I actually had a point
Sure.
exactly about this.
What?
I think Traverse Town was awesome in the fact that it introduced several different things in the game that you knew you would have to come back and do. The two that stick out in my mind is when you saw the Trinity marks on the ground
yep.
of different colors,
yeah.
and also the candles that you had to all light to unlock the chest, but you couldn't quite do it with the regular fire spell because it wasn't fast enough. And so you like kind of would make a mental note to yourself, like, okay, when I get better fire spells, and I can actually hit all these candles at the same time, I can come back and get something cool. So I think it did a really excellent job of setting that up and letting you know that multiple playthroughs will be perfect, or not multiple playthroughs, but multiple visitations of realms.
The 101 Dalmatians piece was another addition that required the entire game, and you had to circle back and come back here to finish it off.
Yeah. We have Craig came in and he just says, "Hi everyone. I have just started trying to play Kingdom Hearts, and Traverse Town is probably one of my favorite areas so far." Yeah, it's pretty class. Like that and Destiny Islands, they started pretty strong with these two very nice and easy worlds to get into. It's not too heavy on the story. It's just kind of a good old time at this point. So,
For sure.
yeah.
And I feel like they took the right steps with introducing these places as like the tutorial places for you as a player. You know,
Mhm.
like they make you feel safe, they make you feel good. You're starting the game off with these like really good feelings and you're excited about the game. And you're basically learning how to play the game here.
Right.
So I thought that was really a smart developmental, like for development, it's a good decision.
Right. I mean, and then we also got the Wishing Star Keyblade, which I personally don't remember this one at all. To be honest, do you guys remember it?
I do.
Oh yeah, you get it from Geppetto, right?
Is it?
Wishing Star you get from Geppetto after you bring not Pluto, God,
Ah.
Pinocchio back.
Okay, back, yeah.
Oh, so this is
Um,
the wrong world.
That little house.
no,
Oh.
you have
Yeah.
to sit
It
back here
happens in
at
Traverse.
his house.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you
okay.
get another Keyblade too as well. But yeah, this one you get back from Geppetto after Monstro.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, I don't remember that for some reason. Maybe it's because I just was so
It's
done
an
with
optional
Monstro.
one. You can miss
Right.
it.
There's quite a bit of optional ones I've noticed. And I haven't played this game in years. I know so much about it though, but um, I'm gonna go ahead and rate. I give this one a 5 as well. I'm not giving every single one a 5, but the first two are good. What about you guys without a
Same.
board?
I'd give it a 5.
Hell
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
giving this one a 5
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd give it a 5 as well.
All
It's
right. So
probably
Two
my
good stars.
favorite in the
Strong
first
start
game,
for Kingdom
honestly.
Hearts.
why is it your
I'd say
favorite,
that-
Jacob?
I kind of like what I think it was what Shadow was saying, just like kind of like the Christmas vibes it gets. But it just even with the whole like Heartless and all attacking, like the world's just so peaceful. Like, even in the little Easter eggs they had too, like in that it's a fair district. You just have the lady in the tramp fountain. This is my
Yeah.
first playthrough. I didn't even notice that, but it's just like the small details, like in a hotel too, that like I don't notice the first time.
Yeah,
It's just
I
like so
remember
much
that.
that happens in the world too.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful, like in a weird way. I wish it was in the 3 because I wanted to see it a little bit more high
Same.
definition,
I
but
was disappointed in that too. I know we're not talking about 3 this week, but it was kind of a disappointment that because I think that was honestly the town I was most excited to go back and visit.
I know. Yeah, and it would have been nice to
Was
see more.
Traverse Town in 2?
No, it
No.
It was
was
in
not.
So
Dream Drop Distance. It reappeared.
it
It
wasn't.
did.
Well, sure. It reappeared in some of the spin-offs, especially the ones that they had to go back and do
Yeah.
story from the first one, whether it be Chain of Memories or RE Coded. But I will be the one voice here that did not expect to go back to Traverse Town. We never did in 2, but we did because I think when we get into 2, they had the Two's Hub. Two's Hub world was what was it called? Twilight Town.
Yeah.
Did we go back to Twilight Town in 3? Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
we did
Mhm.
because of Roxas, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
It's
It
very short.
it's
though.
very confusing. I feel like the reoccurring worlds have been inconsistent to say the least. But with that said, let's go on to Wonderland. So Wonderland, I did make a comment that we don't see this world really ever again except for the mobile game. Which I played the mobile game very little and I do remember seeing it, but we do have a tweet from Alto. He might be watching. He's a very frequent viewer, but can you go ahead and read that, Doctor?
He said, Wonderland, it's the first Disney World we come to, and it's such a small world yet feels massive when you first go in. You can get lost but not quite frustrated, and it's whimsical like the game should feel. Which I agree.
Yeah.
But I would say though, I do think Wonderland was a bit of a missed opportunity
Mhm.
because I love Alice in Wonderland. It's such a cool story, and I feel like we could have done so much more with it. And like
That's
I said,
yeah.
it wasn't revisited, which felt weird because it was like super like the whole game feels whimsical, right? And what better world to be in if that wasn't whimsical feel than in Wonderland?
Right. And as someone who studies children's literature and is a big fan of Alice in Wonderland, I feel like we didn't really get much from it. I feel like they could have done a lot more as well, and really all they did was have like the forest and like the cat appear every once in a while, which I'm like that's just like a small part. They could have had the caterpillar, but I think probably for reasons like because it's smoking, maybe they couldn't have that. They could have had the
Mhm.
Mad Tea Party a little bit better. Like they could have done a lot more. They really only did like the shrinking. It just wasn't very. It was kind of lackluster for me as well.
There was that one room you could walk on the different walls and ceilings depending on which door you went through or which pot you went in. But yeah, it was a little bit claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't we go back to Wonderland in 3?
For sure.
Yeah,
No.
yes, I think
Oh, I think it's just in recoded in 358.
yeah, recoded in 358. Yes.
Yeah, it was in the
I don't know
side
why I'm having like
games.
this flashback of this like this really frustrating boss.
Oh,
That might
and
have just been from one.
Oh,
Jabberwocky.
Yeah, he was like this
oh,
weird lanky
it's a
boy,
tough cookie.
that was
and
the
you had to jump over
Jabberwocky.
the table when you're little.
So
And
hard.
Oh yeah, that's the one in Kingdom Hearts 1, the skinny
no.
paper dude.
yeah,
And on
okay,
hard
so
mode, that dude was annoying.
Oh,
Oh,
for
I'm
real.
sorry. He's called the Trick Master. My bad.
Trickmaster,
Ah.
that's right.
Good fact check. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that either. But I do remember that because wasn't he like kind of folded like a card? Oh, you have the
Yeah,
guide on you?
Oh, I have
Oh
that on
my
me
god.
too.
Oh my god.
I need help.
You guys are the
I needed
best.
help.
I literally only have like my Google Doc and just my opinion, and you guys are like, let me just crack out my like ultimate guides here. I appreciate it. I really do.
Gonna make sure that you have your facts first, and then we'll check to see if they're right.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot. It's like right beside me, and I could be using it right now.
Do
so.
it. Like, why not?
Have it.
We're not
Okay,
experts, but
So we're gonna
Um,
mention the
see-
Keyblade next, which is kind of sitting there on the picture, I think.
I was gonna
Um,
say we do have a
Yeah,
tweet
maybe
about the
what?
Keyblade.
Yeah, because you don't actually get that one when you're there. You've got to come back with the Trinity marks later.
Mhm.
That's a late game Keyblade. That's not one you get at the beginning.
Really? I didn't know that because I guess I don't really remember it, but I actually do remember this person because they did say something else on the side that I did not include, but pretty much I can read this one. But Big Rick Energy said Lady Luck. Y'all know why. So I guess she's a really big Alice in Wonderland fan, and she said that hers was her favorite just because of the aesthetic and kind of like the Alice in Wonderland theme. I didn't think this one was very aesthetically pleasing in my opinion for Alice in Wonderland. They could have done more with it, you know?
Kind
I
of how I
did
feel
like
about
the-
the whole world.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Jacob?
That's just kind of how I feel about the world. It's like I wish they waited later to like have Wonderland when they could like do more with it, because it has so many so much is going on in that movie, and it just like feels like you're just in a small room and that's it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
like Lieutenant said, it's claustrophobic, kind of.
it
It's accurate.
is. It's very like yeah, it's not very big, and I feel like they should have included it in 3 instead of like Rapunzel. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go into 3 for a minute, but Rapunzel was just the movie. I was like, I'm watching the fucking movie with Goofy in the background. That's all I'm doing. Like, and I feel like they could have done Wonderland. They could have made it really trippy and like really really cool, but they went with fucking Rapunzel. So, yeah, but I give this one a 3. What do
Give
you
it a 2.
A 2, okay. A 0, a 3,
Oh.
and Vanessa, what did you give it?
Wait, I dropped my note card.
It's
Who
okay.
gave it a 0?
A 2! Oh my god! Wait, Shadow,
Yeah,
what
I
did you
would
give it?
a 2.5.
A 2.5. Okay, we're going with the points
Yeah.
here because we are in Kingdom Hearts, and oh, was any
2.8.
a 2.8? Oh my god, I give it a 3. A 3 point.
2.1.
A 3.2. Yeah. Okay, so
It's a
our next
3.8 remix.
Remix, yeah.
Oh
I
god.
give it pi.
I give it pi. 3.15. Or is it 3.14? All right.
3.1415.
Oops. So Olympus is our next one, which I have a lot to say about Olympus, so I'm not going to bring all of our pictures out at once. So Olympus appeared in every single game. Yay.
Except for Dream Drop.
Except
yes.
oh yeah, it did not appear in
Yeah.
Dream Drop. Yeah. But it did appear in almost every game, and it was different each time. It wasn't the same thing over and over again. In the first world you had it was just a tournament in the first world,
Colosseum,
right?
yeah.
And then the second one you were able to go into the underworld, which I thought was really cool. And then in the third one it was a whole different world. You got to go up into the freaking heavens and see Zeus and everything. So I feel like they did a really good job with Olympus Coliseum because it changed so much each time, and it really was a good one. So
I'm probably gonna be really weird about this one. I think Kingdom Hearts 3's iteration of Olympics was the worst one.
really,
Olympus Coliseum from the original game is probably my favorite world. And I know it's really silly to say, but I loved doing the challenges in the Coliseum so much.
Absolutely.
I love doing the tournaments. And honestly, if I'm being honest, even though Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, when I was young, when that game originally came out, I absolutely couldn't beat Sephiroth.
oh,
And so I sat in Kingdom Hearts 1 and beat Sephiroth. It took me forever, but it was like really vindicating for me that I was like, well, at least I beat him in this game. And
he was a
so it kind
pain.
of just stuck with me, and Olympus is just my jam. I love Olympus.
Dude,
1 and 2.
that
I just love
Sephiroth
doing the
match
tournament.
He was hard.
Oh, he's
He's
difficult.
so
was
hard.
intense.
You
My
had to have
cousin
your.
and I,
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Vanessa.
sorry,
No, it's okay.
my cousin and I, because she die hard loves Kingdom Hearts, and she wanted to like complete every little like side quest mini game challenge that she could. But the Sephiroth battle was so hard. She would like have me sit next to the TV and put my ear against the speaker and tell her whenever he'd say "Sin Harvest,"
Oh
so she
my
can get ready.
god.
Oh,
It's like
that's so good.
I love that though. That's kind of cute. I do like.
you gotta work together, you know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing. It's very yeah, it's oh my god. I will never forget seeing his life bar. Just like how it was just across the whole
So
damn
much.
screen. And I was like,
And then it was so many of them.
oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah, it was like,
Purple, pink, orange, yellow, green. You're like, what?
oh my
Yeah.
god. It was like I didn't even know it could have this many. It was horrible. Along with that, we also had our Olympian key, which was our strongest key until the end. It had 10 strength. It was the strongest one. It had absolutely no magic, but it was. I think I used this one the whole time because I didn't know much about magic, so I was just using this one because I was like, oh, it's my strongest one. Like, but it's ugly. I don't know
You
what.
better
Yeah, I
believe
think-
I use this one to the very end.
It is ugly. I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think you can't really get
I-
this one until after several of the Coliseum matches. Is that correct? You're
Yeah.
you're mid to late game by the time you get it, and then it's fall. Which is why I didn't use it very much because it's short. It's very strong, true, but you get Oblivion not too long after you grab this one, and then that one trumps um, that short Keyblade.
The
Yeah, that's something I think people
Yeah.
overlook a lot. The length of the Keyblade does matter.
Mhm.
does.
There is reach in the game. So
Someone did
Mhm.
mention
Just-
that in a tweet
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
The Keyblade was kind of ugly,
Oh,
so I
yeah,
didn't like to use it.
Exactly. I was like not a fan. We do have
aesthetics
a
are important.
exactly. I was like, I just want the
Really
Kingdom
are.
Key. But we do have a tweet from Neo Matter. I forgot we had tweets about this one. We only got one, I think, but go ahead and read it, Doctor.
probably Olympus Coliseum for me. So many great characters in thread lines. And I was always a huge fan of Danny DeVito as Phil.
Yeah.
Although I don't think he did the voice of the game, come to think of it.
Oh, I don't know.
Fuck,
Did
Which,
he?
did.
I know we're jumping ahead here, but speaking of voice actors, it was so. I'm not even sure which one the Pirates of the Caribbean world was in. Was that in the first
Second
one?
one.
It was in the
two.
second. Yeah.
It was in 2. It was so jarring for me not hearing the right voice for Jack Sparrow.
I didn't even
Yeah.
couldn't deal with
notice.
it.
I thought he was pretty
What?
spot on. I didn't notice. Again, when I played it, I was a teenager. Like it didn't matter to me. I was just happy to see Sora. So,
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
had his impersonator, his official Disney impersonator, I think, doing that, but it was not Johnny Depp doing the voice. But was it that jarring to you, Doctor? It was that different?
it was. I don't think it was him. I noticed him, but I think it was what's her name? Is it Keira Knightley?
Keira Knightley?
yeah.
Yeah, hers was not close.
Not even
No,
close,
hers
no.
wasn't. I knew that one.
And I think that one was probably more jarring to me, but I could definitely still tell. And I don't know why it sticks with me so much, but I was like, that's not right.
Right. Gaming nerd from the chat, he says, I'm all about the strength-based Keyblades. I think I was too. I still am. Like mostly like with weapons, I'm very strength-based and not magic. I don't know about you guys, but like Jacob said, it was ugly. I didn't want to use it. So,
I'm pretty based, so like.
yeah. We also have a tweet about the key. Oops, I just did the wrong thing. My bad. Oh, I guess we don't. Never mind. My mistake. We don't. But I did want to bring in that we do see Cloud for the first time. Because we saw all of our other Final Fantasy characters, but now we see Cloud. What the fuck is that design? I'm sorry, I hate it.
I hate this design. Hate it.
I hate
0 out of
it.
10.
I'm like, why is his sword?
Realistically, though,
Go ahead.
He is Vincent
Oh.
/
Yeah.
something else because he's got
Cloud
Vincent.
/ Sephiroth.
Yep.
He's horrible. Vanessa, what were you gonna say?
Sorry, I totally just talked over you. Oh no, I was just gonna say that like it's not realistic for the Buster Sword to work when it's wrapped up like that. At least not well.
Yeah. When he gets serious, he takes it off for like one fight,
Mhm.
and it's supposed to be oh he's getting serious now. He's taking the tape off, but I was like, this is just dumb.
It was a big experiment.
Yeah, for sure. And like, don't get me wrong, I do like when games experiment and go a little bit out of the norm because I think it's worthwhile. This one was just a swing and a miss in my opinion for design.
Hylia?
Hylia, we
Can't
can't
hear.
hear you.
Highly, you're,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I unplugged myself on accident. My mistake.
You
I
were
have too
so
many.
excited about Cloud, you unplugged yourself.
I was like, ah! I'm just so mad about this
Screw
design.
that design.
But yeah, as far as this world goes, but also I wanted to bring in, just because I love him so much, we also see Zack in Kingdom Hearts 3. Or no, sorry,
by
no,
Sleep.
Birth by
Birth by-
Sleep,
Birth by
Birth by
Sleep.
Sleep. I just was very excited to see kind of like our big soldier boys kind of, in this part of the world. So it was really cool, I think. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Looks so young too. Like
He's a
Yeah.
no,
baby.
he was a baby Zach.
He was such a
Look at
baby.
that.
And it makes
And
sense
you're-
though.
Your resident Final Fantasy X fan, though, has to point out that Kingdom Hearts 2 had Auron.
I did forget about Orin. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You had
How could
Titus
you
and
forget?
Waka in Destiny.
Oh, but Titus and
Destiny
Walker were
Island.
trash in that game. You didn't even
He
notice
like
them.
ruined all
Yeah,
the
I
Final Fantasy X characters except for him.
They really did.
I don't
Well,
know
then
why.
Auron
What if
was
they're,
like-
little fairies. I'm like, what?
Right, but Auron was like this freaking like, what was he? He was like a demon from hell. He was like
Yeah.
badass. And then you have Yuna, who's a fairy, and she's like,
It's like, why is he Tinkerbell? I don't like that.
I know. Yeah, it was interesting what they did with the Final Fantasy characters, but I think they did our I want to call them warriors here because they are with their big ass swords. I think they did them well, but I give this world a 5. My marker's running out of ink. So
5 from me.
I like
Ah.
how
6 I would.
I like how
4.5.
Zach's outfit kind of has that gladiator.
Yeah,
part
like the
going
Greek
on.
Yeah.
gladiator thing.
So
Yeah.
I
Chipmunk
give it a 5.
a 5. Chipmunky, what about you?
I'm gonna give it a 3 just because, like, I don't know. For me, it was like you had to do it in a certain order. You had to keep coming back to the world, which I wasn't a fan of. But I do really like all of it, like matches against like Cloud and Sephiroth. Like that was cool.
What about you, Shadow?
I feel like I did the most grinding
Hmm.
because of this world. And so it was good. Like I think it was effective in what it was trying to do, and it made you feel like you were strengthening your character thanks to this world, even after you left, and then when you were coming back and stuff. So I'd give it a 5.
Hell yeah. Sweet. Okay, so now we have our next one, which is Jungle
Jungle.
Deep Jungle.
Deep Jungle?
I almost said Jungle Key,
Ah.
and then I messed up. So, yeah, we have Deep Jungle here, which I'm a little disappointed with this one, just because Tarzan is one of my favorites. So, I was more disappointed they couldn't use the music, which is understandable. They can't really do
Music
copyright.
sucked so bad.
Oh, it sucked, but I was like, oh, what about our Phil Collins ballads here, man? Like, I really wish we had that. Drowned Summer says Deep Jungle because it features Brian Blessed, who was the voice of Clayton, which I did not know that. So thank you,
I
Drowned Summer.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
The gorillas.
Yeah, gorillas. I mean, what'd you
One
guys
thing I
think?
can say about this world was more than any other world in the game, I would always get so turned around here, and I was
Yes.
constantly lost. Ah,
Was kind of bugged too because you could literally do it in the right order of what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to talk to, and then you'll still have to like wait a minute, like just a little bit longer. You'll just have to leave the area and come back, even though you did what you were supposed to do. So kind of
Yeah.
buggy.
Yep.
I remember getting turned around in this world very often. I played this game with my best friend Jenna, who actually might be watching right now. I told her that we were going to talk about her. And I remember us sitting there at like 2 a.m. being so lost in Deep Jungle, and then I was like, I give up, I'm saving, and we were like really young at the time, and she was like, oh, the sweet sound of saving, and it like was an inside joke between us ever since. But yeah, I remember that. And then another thing was like Tarzan's design was really unsettling for me.
So wonk. Oh
He
my
looks
goodness.
so weird. He was like, huh, or whatever.
Just like lumbered around. Did not. Yeah, not a fan.
He was
Yeah.
weird.
That was awkward.
I just,
Boss fight against Clayton too is really awkward.
yeah,
I agree.
I do
Well,
remember
see
that.
that chameleon that
And that
we-
invisible, he's just like shooting
Yeah.
the gun at you too, on like while he's
Oh.
riding. I'm like, am I playing the same game? Like,
Oh
Yeah.
my god. And didn't they do that again in Pirates of the Caribbean with the damn chameleon? Like in the
They
next
had it,
game?
yeah, they did. They
Yeah.
did, yeah.
I
monster
hated
that
that.
was, yeah.
I was so mad
That
about
was-
that.
Yeah,
Huh?
what's the deal with the chameleon? Was he in the original Tarzan movie? What's
don't
No, the
called?
think
chameleon was
so.
a heartless. It was just a heartless that he
Yeah.
was
Oh, okay.
riding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was weird. I don't know. Deep Jungle honestly wasn't that memorable to me too, because it was just the jungle. Like it wasn't really there were. I mean, I guess in Tarzan there's really not much more, but we could have like swung. I mean, we did swing through vines at one point, right? But it was really frustrating.
Yeah,
And it was
it
clunky. Yep.
was.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
like wait, hit X, and that was it.
It wasn't like yeah, like in 3 they could have done so much more with it. And, like we could
Yeah.
have, like it's just there's so many missed opportunities with these originals that were so good that we could have used in 3, but instead we got Frozen and Rapunzel. So
It was yeah. So 3 was definitely the Pixar CGI worlds that we went to. But I wanted to ask, did we go? Was Deep Jungle the first keyhole we closed?
I think it
I
was.
think it was a second. Wasn't Wonderland the
Okay.
first?
Oh,
Did we close Wonderland was my question. I didn't remember because I think did we have to leave and come back, or was Wonderland like
Remember.
completed?
I think
Thought,
you can
like-
close it as soon as you beat the Trick Master, because then
Yeah,
the
that's what I
doorknob
thought.
like yawns and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
reveals
you're
the
right.
temple.
So this was the second keyhole we closed.
isn't
then.
it all based on choice though? Because I don't remember 1, but I do remember 2.
Didn't
You
play 'em
had
in a- yeah.
yeah, you had the option. You could go to one or the other. So maybe some people did do that for. I don't remember if that was a thing for 1. 1 was a little bit more complicated with their map.
You had to open a keyhole to create a new path. So I think at the beginning you only had Olympus Coliseum or Wonderland. So yeah, you're right because you had to unlock Wonderland because you couldn't unlock Olympus yet. So Wonderland led you around a deep jungle. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Our key. I don't like it. I don't. Is that the right key?
Ugly.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying to
the
remember
right
what it even
key.
looks like.
I.
And
I
you're
thought
gonna
it was made
use
out
it.
of bone.
What, Vanessa?
You're gonna use it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I just was saying it looks like it's made out of bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a mouth. It looks like teeth, like really bad teeth.
Yeah.
That looks disgusting.
Well, and then we have in Kingdom Hearts 2, we have like the Lion King one. I can't remember what I think it was called, like Pride of the Prack or something. That one
Yep.
looks like that too. And I was like, ugh, it was so ugly. I just didn't. Oh, I'm not a fan of the jungle theme ones. I don't know about you guys, but
Mhm.
I
Old
really didn't
man
like. I
teeth.
mean, it's a different topic, but I didn't even like the Lion King world in Kingdom Hearts 2.
me neither.
Felt like an ugly world. Like,
It did. It was kind of unnecessary. Should we go to rating? Does anyone else have any pros and cons
Um,
about this?
I mean,
I have
I
nothing
just
positive to say.
think
No.
the jungle. I really liked the jungle slider mini game. That was fun.
Oh,
yeah, that was
Oh,
fun.
on the
Yeah, that
vine.
was.
that was fun. I give this world a 1. My first one.
I'm gonna give it a 1 too.
Who else?
I'm
I
gonna
gave
give
it
it
a
a 0.
A 0. Lieutenant,
I gave it a 2.
a 2, and then Vanessa, a 2. Shadow, what about you?
Yeah. And
I
that's
give
what
it a
junglers
1.5
A 1.5.
because the slider game, yeah. So it gets a
Bumped it
1.5
up.
for me.
Hell yeah. All right, so this next world, when we were doing like research and getting everything together, we were like kind of roasting it a little bit, but then I went back and I was like, it makes sense now. So now we're gonna talk about the 100 Acre Woods. And the sweet, sweet Keyblade called Sweet Memories, which I was like, aw. We do have a Discord message from Drown Summer roasting it, if you want to read that, Doctor.
Roasted Kingdom Hearts, the main one would be the lack of any Final Fantasy characters in 3, but also that in the first Eeyore wasn't voiced. Eeyore's voice actor is Peter Cullen, who also voices Optimus Prime.
I don't know
I
how
did not
Drown
know
Summer.
that.
If you're here, he knows
Optimus Eeyore, that's great.
he knows everything about like voice actors. He is all about it, and I'm like, oh god, you
That's
need to be
so
like our
cool.
official fact checker. But yeah, that's what he said. I think we had another tweet as well. We had this tweet from Video Games as Literature. What does that say, Doctor?
I mean, I seriously love them all, but I voted for 100 Acre Wood because it's so peaceful.
Right.
As
He was one of the other two people that voted for it besides me.
For our poll.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because we all were like talking, and we're like, ugh, 100 Acre
So I had
Wood.
like 3 votes for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
was
didn't
good.
have much. But now that I like kind of went back to it, I was like, oh, it makes sense. Like it kind of brought back the innocence of the game and like the friendship of the game, because the whole game is like revolved around friendship, you know. So I feel like it kind of was like needed, but at the same time, like we could have gone with that. But I like it now. Now that like I went back and I was like, oh, okay, like I get it. So I don't know.
it's one of those worlds that's tied through the entire game too, because you got to find those lost pages.
Uh,
Yep.
Not
in
in
order
1
to
though.
open it. Well, they weren't. Yeah, no, they were torn pages, and then they get
Oh,
torn back apart again in two.
okay. Oh,
So
right,
you had
right.
to find
Mhm.
stuff throughout the game first, and chests and whatnot, and then. So I mean, it kind of tied throughout the whole game, but
Hmm.
it also gave you a reason, right, to come back to Traverse Town again, the
Yeah.
hub.
Yeah, because even in 2, in Hollow
That's right.
Bastion, Merlin had the book, and you had to like go into the book, and
Right.
Pooh was like, "I don't remember you, bitch." Like, I don't know.
It made me so sad.
I know. And when he was like Pooh, and he
God.
was like, "I don't know you," he
Oh, yeah,
was
he would call him. He would call him somebody I don't know.
somebody I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. What did you guys think about 100 Acre Wood?
I loved
This
it. It was
world
I quite liked it.
fucked me up
It did?
hard.
Why?
Yes, this was the first world where I actually became emotionally vested in the game.
Oh.
I tried so hard for 100 Acre Wood, and really, like, I was enjoying the game as a game up until this point, but 100 Acre Wood really touched into like my real life. And that's the funny thing about these like Square Enix games. But like just coming into the world, and like Pooh is such a huge part of my childhood.
Hmm.
And then he's got like dementia, and it was
Yeah.
just like it was traumatizing because for me it was like it was kind of like the movie Coco, where it's like, shit. Well, if you don't remember them, then they're not going to exist, and like all these characters are just going to like be dead and like poof out of existence. And I was so like, and I was a grown man when Kingdom Hearts came out. I was like 21, I think, and I cried. I was like, no, I've got to help Pooh. I got to save all the characters. I've got to rebuild the world. I got to make it right. Like
Oh
fuck
my
Sora, fuck all these
gosh.
people. I need to fix Pooh. I was so screwed up until I finished it. Until I like rebuilt 100 Acre Wood like complete, and then Pooh's like, oh yeah, I remember all my friends and everything. I'm not alone anymore. I'm not gonna like fade away into. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let you die, Pooh.
That's actually really
It was
cute.
yeah, it
It
was really
was
like
wildly
that
heavy.
was the world where I actually gave a damn, like legit gave a damn. And then I was like, I love this game. This game is great.
Right. We have gaming nerd from the chat saying, I have to confess, as much as I love Kingdom Hearts, I never beat 100 Acre Woods. I never understand its purpose as a kid. Yeah, and like
Items.
items, yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, I guess like as a kid I didn't really either, but like Shadow, for you, it like clicked. You were like, oh my god,
Oh my god, it was
this is
so
it.
cool.
Jacob, what did you think of 100 Acre Wood?
I mean, I'm like a huge Winnie the Pooh fan, and like to me, unlike some of the other worlds in the first game, most of the worlds can't really capture like how the movies and like what they look like and all. This actually felt like I was in 100 Acre Wood, so I appreciated that. I just thought the mini games were, kind of like annoying, but like as far as what was going on, I thought it was fine.
Hmm. Vanessa, I like what you just said in chat. What? So can you say that?
like both like yeah, it was like a little mini game hub, or also a little break from the darkness that was taking over the story.
Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah, it brought back the kid, and like that's when I kind of look at this game and I'm like, wow, this game really was meant for children. Not always, but like this was meant for children, originally, because it is a
It
Disney
definitely
game.
hits you in the childhood.
It does, and I maybe like I kind of am like, oh, was it aimed for children or was it aimed for like us? Because we knew all these Disney movies. Like this was what we grew up with. So I
Yeah, I
like,
think it goes with their messaging of like reigniting the child in all of us. And I
yeah,
feel like the game was successful in doing that.
it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like yeah, it definitely brought back the innocence of the game, because like Final Fantasy and like all those other RPGs that Square makes can be very heavy. Even this one's very heavy. And they kind of like Winnie the Pooh like kind of just brings it back. So I now that I've like done more research and thought about it more, I do like this world, and I'm gonna give it a
Fixed.
4. Oh god. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna use my fingers because I'm gonna give it a 4. So Vanessa gives it a 5. Doctor gives it a
I'd give it
4.
a 4.
You give it a 4, Jacob. What about you, Shadow?
4.
I mean, I'm biased. I give it a 5.5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
It was perfect, and the fact that like, you know, like especially these days, like with fiction, like there's so many things that like you don't get a happy ending or a good ending and stuff, but like 100 Acre Wood, you are able to like make everything better and like fix it all, and for that like they get so much love. So I give it a 5 plus 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 plus.
Right. And Lieutenant, you said you gave it a 4.
4.
It wasn't perfect, but it was good. But I kind of like your input on it, not Doctor, Shadow. So yeah, that was our And also, I love the name of the Keyblade. It's called Sweet Memories. It's so cute. Like,
I really like the
Mhm,
design for the
mhm.
Keyblade.
I do too. It wasn't ugly. It was actually kind of cute. I
That's
don't.
pretty
It
adorable.
wasn't, like a dental keyblade,
Mm-mm.
like the jungle.
God. So now we're gonna go into my personal favorite. We're gonna go into Agrabah, which no tweets were said about Agrabah. I feel like it's a very underrated place. Um, but Agrabah showed up a lot in the game. I mean, it showed up in 1, it showed up in 2. Jasmine did look a little freaky, but like we're gonna ignore that. Um, so I liked that it had, and this is something that like I just take as someone who Vanessa that score. Anyways, I uh what was I gonna say? It adds some diversity to the game because like a lot of these games just have like white people, white characters, and this kind of added like some diversity. It brought in the Arabic. Um, I liked it. You know, I am part Turkish, so it was great for me. I like the aesthetic. I love the music. This is a favorite of mine, and I also love Aladdin. So I don't know. What did you guys think?
Aladdin's such a timeless story. It was hard not to enjoy.
Ah, yeah. Um, it
I
I
really.
actually
loved it, and like you, like I felt represented here. Both of my parents are biracial, so anytime like there's more diversity, I get happier with any kind of product.
Right.
And I think they did a good job representing the story, representing the world. I agree with you about Jasmine. Um, I think they did a good enough job pulling it off. Like I was happy with it. I was satisfied.
Right.
Mhm.
But I just like kind of the element of diversity. And also it kind of brought me into like so I always kind of try to like relate like what is this like world thing and like bring it to our real world, but I kind of am like, oh, you know what? It could be like just geographical locations like Alice in Wonderland's England. It takes place in England, Agrabah is India or, the Arabic region anywhere in the Middle East, honestly.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like not only are we in this like fantasy land of like traveling through worlds, but it could just be our own world, like you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I feel like it's like in
Yeah,
my own head a lot, but
Yeah,
like yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
it
Yeah.
suffers in reality.
Yeah, it's like more realistic because we were able to go to like the Middle East or we were able to go to the jungle in Africa, but we didn't have any Africans there. We just had Tarzan. But um yeah, it just kind of made it more like closer to home. So I really liked Agrabah. But I don't
I
know.
liked it too. In fact, when I was playing through that, I like rehooked my Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo to fire up, Aladdin for those
that's a great
consoles.
game.
Completely different game, but like,
So
yeah, I
hard.
mean, like,
The throwback.
very difficult. And if I remember correctly, they're two different games.
Yes.
Like the Genesis one is nothing like the Super
Yep.
Nintendo one. But I remember like it just got me so nostalgic for that world, and I was like, oh, I want more, I want more. So I fired up the classics, and then when I got done with those, I went back to Kingdom Hearts and finished what I had to do in Agrabah.
Right.
Love it.
I do like the Keyblade, the three
The
wishes.
Keyblade is dope.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very like calligraphy.
Yeah, and it's very like I love like the end of it, how it's the genie, it like goes back into the story. Like I would hang that Keyblade up on my wall. Like it is beautiful. And it got even more beautiful throughout the games. Like I feel like the Kingdom Hearts 1's Keyblades were so flat and they just got prettier and prettier as the games went on. But I mean, does anyone else have anything to say about Agrabah? I feel like I could talk about it all day. But
I like the story too. Like for me, it didn't really feel necessary in the second game. It was just like, oh hey, we're just revisiting. The
right.
first one, you feel like more invested. You have like because I like how you have the Disney group of villains. That was cool. Like Jafar and like Maleficent are kind of like competition and all, and like I felt like that was a big part of the game.
Right.
Oh,
Agreed.
Yeah. I give this world a 5. It's one of my favorites, so 5.
And I wanted
I
4.
to
give it a
ride.
4.
You have a
Wait,
four
what'd you
as
say,
well?
Vanessa?
I said I wanted to ride the magic carpet more.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, I almost
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Knock a point off.
That's true. I mean, they did
Yeah,
in two.
the Cave of Wonders dungeon was kind of annoying at times, so I'm
That's
gonna give
why I
it like
can't
a
give it a 5.
3.8.
Right. Jacob, what do you give it?
I give it a 4.
What about you, Shadow?
Yeah, I would give it a 4 too.
Hell yeah. All right. So this next world was very unpopular. I got a lot of comments about this one. So now we're
I
on
know.
to Monstruoso.
Okay, can we just skip it?
Monstruoso. I wish, God. I will never forget this one. It kind of scarred me as a child. I'm gonna let you guys talk about that first. So, what does our Discord message say?
change for me, at least design-wise, was them not spawning enemies on you the exact second you enter a room. That made Monstro unbearable.
Oh my
Truth.
god. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
I will say one thing, as much as I didn't really quite like Monstro, I did think it was really neat seeing it happen, like you know, the whale appearing and like you weren't expecting it. Like that's for certain. And also, my vote here, really quick, just to get to the end, is I think this is one of the coolest looking Keyblades in the game.
I was gonna say that too. So I think this is the best one, the best Keyblade, even though it is, in my opinion, one of the worst worlds. I love this Keyblade. It is awesome. I don't know. What do you guys think?
As bad as the world is, and I'm like probably the number one guy who's going to say, because I'm probably going to rate it like a 1 or a 0. I haven't decided yet, but a huge chunk of the story happened in Monstro
Hmm.
when you met Riku again,
Yeah.
and he messed with you the entire time, taking Pinocchio around, trying to, um, and it ended up leading you back to Traverse Town, I think. But no, that was a huge part of the Riku Sora interaction before Hollow Bastion, and kind of showed you he was not really your friend anymore.
Right. And I think
At least
that
for the
was like kind of a redemption because it really did drive the plot, but I'm just
You
Yep,
unplugged yourself
did
again.
it again.
sorry, I unplugged
You're so
myself.
excited.
Um I keep messing with it. I need to stop. But I was really scarred because it's like the intestines of an animal that you're walking in, and they make that very clear. And I was just like, I didn't like it, so it just
Damn, I didn't think about that.
well, it's just like,
I loved it. I thought it was metal AF.
I mean, I guess, but like as a girl who's like, I just want to see Sora and
Metal
Kyrie
AF.
kiss, I was
Yeah.
like, like this is too much. So,
Oh yeah, and then some parts would like pulsate.
yeah, that
Yeah.
part, I hated that.
Super gross. I loved it.
I was such a girl about that. I mean, Shadow, Jacob, what do you guys think?
Jacob, you can go first.
I mean, I don't really. As far as that part, like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree. Like, I thought it was kind of gross. Like, I don't know, playing it younger too, I was just like, why am I inside of a whale and I'm just like fighting like Riku in his stomach or something? Like, what's going on? You know?
Right, right. It was a
So
weird
for me,
one.
it evoked a lot of Final Fantasy IV.
Really?
One, it's a big whale, and then two, it took me back, like the way it was introduced. It took me back to when Leviathan takes Rydia, and so I thought that was great that they basically did something like that in this game. Like you're getting sucked in by this whale, and so as soon as that was happening, I was like, oh my god, I feel like Final Fantasy IV right now. So I love that, and I
Mm.
love Pinocchio as a story too. So
Yeah, I was going to say, as long as we do remember that the original Disney movie in like the 19 whatever 40s, 50s, 60s, like they actually did get swallowed by the whale. So
Yeah.
that's like all written in,
Mhm.
pre-written,
Yeah.
and brought over.
Yeah,
Well, then I was also upset they didn't bring more Pinocchio into it, because I think Pinocchio's
I
a good
agree.
story. But
Yeah.
I did
They
recently
did later.
rewatch,
They
kinda, yeah.
redid it.
But I did rewatch Pinocchio lately, and I was like, how? Oh, I guess it was made in the 30s, 40s, so it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
But they
It's
like
like
the kids
40,
are,
early
That
40s.
happens a
yeah.
lot with older Disney movies.
Oh, it
You're
is
just like, oh, that is
offensive.
awful.
It is like,
I'm
Racist.
rewatching all of them. Like, I'm at like, I just finished, what was it? I just finished, Bambi. I've watched
oh,
Dumbo and all. Like, and you just, I don't know, some of the stuff in it's like, wow, this aged really bad.
it did because like there's
Dumbo's
like kids
wildly
smoking
racist.
cigars in that
Yeah.
game, and I'm not game that movie, so I can see why they kind of just stuck it with Monstro, because it is very, and it's like kidnapping. It goes into some dark topics, so I can kind of see why they didn't after rewatching it
Yeah,
recently.
I mean, when I watch that, and they're not framed as good things.
No.
I mean, the argument is should this topic be covered with a kid, and then we can let history decide if that's modern morality or not. But as far as like if they were showing kids smoking and stuff, and they were reflecting that as a good thing, I could see why that could be offensive. But I mean, they
True.
got turned into donkeys and
Context is
got swallowed
important.
by a freaking whale. I mean, they were clearly telling this is not the way to do it. Now you don't show them things. If you hide images, it's better for kids, or at least that's what we think today.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, we're talking like early 19th, 20th century. I don't like to look back on things and judge it by the morality standards of today for we've grown, and that's good. Forward thinking is good, but turning around and reaching back and telling our great grandparents how bad they were might not be the best thing to
True.
do.
I mean, I could just see why they didn't include that in a video game,
Sure.
especially these days. I was gonna say something else about Pinocchio, but I forgot. Do you guys think Sora would have been turned into a donkey? Yes.
Well, which game was that, Chipmunky, that we actually went to that area
Oh,
where
stream drop distance.
it was
Oh, okay.
raindrop distance? They actually went to the area, and that's what I meant earlier when I said they expanded on it. You went to that place, that fair place where people were smoking and turning into donkeys, in another game, but I don't think they did the donkey thing, did they?
They didn't even go over that. They
No.
just
At
kind of.
all. It was
A
just
lot
the
of
area,
the
right?
movie plots they kind of skipped over, but they just had the area.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird one. But yeah, a lot of people hated it because even in our Discord, like people were like, "Monster was a mistake. I hated it," and I was like, "Yeah." So I give this world a 2. What? Just because of Riku, that's why I give it a 2. But I mean, what do you give it, Vanessa?
A 2 because you get the high jump ability, and I really
Ah,
like that one.
That's super important.
that's a good point, Doctor. What
That's a
about
really
you?
good point.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 3. Honestly, the 3 is mostly for just design purposes. I just thought it was a really neat world. I didn't necessarily have a good time when I was playing it, but I just thought it was really cool. So that gets a 3 out of me.
Right, Lieutenant. What about
Yeah.
you?
Metal AF, remember?
I was debating between a 0 and a 1. I'm going to go with the 1 because, again, the high jump ability is very, very important to me. I forgot all about that until you mentioned it. But then the story element with Riku and Sora, because that's the point that I really started to hate Riku.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of Riku fans out
Hates
there.
Pinocchio. You're like,
Kingdom
what?
Hearts 1 Riku can go jump in a whale because I don't like him at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Jumping a whale.
He's such a,
Yep.
and he even looks funny. I'm like, ugh. Jacob, what do you think?
I gave it a 1. I want to give it a 0 because I hate navigating.
Yeah.
And like all of the how they just randomly
Oh,
spawn up
yeah.
on you and you can't avoid them, the Heartless. But give it a 1 just because the story actually like was part of the main story and you had like you got to show how like okay Riku is actually a terrible person right now.
Yeah, and I forgot it was like atriums. You were like, I remember like the headings. It was like left atrium, right atrium, and that was just, oh, that was to me. But
I
I,
got lost so much.
yes, oh, I remember that. Shadow, what about you? What's your rating?
I'm with Doctor. I give it a 3. Tons of good points. The high jump, Riku being a damn ass, but definitely important to the story. The Keyblade, I liked it, and I thought it was badass. I felt like I wanted to do more with the Keyblade, but I mean that wasn't realistic to how Kingdom Hearts works. Like I wanted to fire like water lasers out of it and stuff. And the design, so like my generation in the mid 90s, there were tons of like cartoons and things that were very like meaty and veiny, and even like Nickelodeon had a character called Inside Out Boy where like you're seeing his guts and insides on his outside, like all
Yeah.
that gross stuff. So like pulsating level design and all of that stuff, I feel like it's not done enough in
Yeah,
a video game. So, yeah, I give it a 3.
hell yeah. So now we have kind of a controversial one because one, I'm dressed up for it. Two, a lot of people hate it. A lot of people love it. Depends what you're talking about. But we now have Atlantica. Oops, we have way too many tweets about Atlantica. So we have a Discord message from one of our team members, Red Shield Gamer. Doctor, if you would like to read that.
The first thing I think of when I hear roasting is usually the Kingdom Hearts 2 version of Atlantica, to be honest. While my fave will always aesthetically be probably Nightmare Before Christmas, I love that movie too much. Same.
Yeah.
It feels
Well, that's
so
about Kingdom
outdated.
Hearts 2, though. So, do we have anything about Kingdom Hearts 1's version? Because they're totally different versions.
They're
of
very
them.
different.
I think we do. So we do have another tweet. Atlantica sucked is the first thing, but what does the rest think? What does the rest say?
Not the world, but the fact it took the gameplay to an area that really didn't suit the game. If you weren't a heavy magic user or have 18 fingers and trying to slap a Neo with a Keyblade was harder than algebra to a daft young dragon.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
So
real quick though. So I believe you guys all mentioned this around the room before that you all were hack and slashers, right, in this game?
Yeah.
Most of you were. That's why you all don't like Atlantica, because
There's
me,
more magic.
I throw the sword away and I keep the
I knew
frickin'
it's
staff.
magic.
So
Yep.
this level was Thundara or Thundaga, whichever one it was that you had at a time, just spam, bop, 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 bop. It
Yep.
made the world super easy.
I remember getting lost where you had to ride that dolphin into like a cove. Oh my
That area
god.
sucked. Yeah.
I was like, oh my, I had to, oh, it was, I will never forget that. I have nightmares about it to this day. So, I did not like it, honestly. I did like seeing like Ariel and like everybody. I liked the first version. Kingdom Hearts 2, I'll be honest here. I was 12 when I played Kingdom Hearts 2 and I had a huge crush on Sora. And I was really upset that Ariel was getting too close to my man. So I had like a hate towards Ariel for a long time. I was such a weirdo. Oh my god. My mom was even like, fuck, like it was bad. I hated it in 2. I even hated it more in 2, but 1 was meh.
That
Was one
singing,
where
that
you
music's. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Doctor. Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay, I was gonna say, was one the version where you fought Ursula's giant face?
Yes.
Like she was.
One.
Yes.
It was the whole body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That was
remember her
annoying.
big face though. She's so scary.
Yeah, and she's like really like, oh, it was a little much.
0 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. And then yeah, fighting her like song version. Oh god, it was just it was kind of a recipe for disaster. I could see why they did it, but I mean, does anyone else have
That
anything?
boss,
Hmm?
Ursula in Kingdom Hearts 1, she was the first time I played through that game was probably one of the hardest bosses up to that point. In fact, I think the game in general, that's when the difficulty level spikes. Like I breezed through the game until I hit Ursula. About the time I hit Ursula, that's when I need to buckle down and either start leveling up or pay attention to what's going on around me, because she'll sneak
The
up on
first
you.
time you fight her or the second time you fight her?
When she's big. When you fight
Okay.
her when she gets big, that's the first time. No, you just need to be smart. You can't just. You have to be smart and hit the pot, right? But
Right.
the second time you fight her, no, that's no joke. At that point, you gotta watch what you're doing.
Sucks you in.
Yeah, she does.
And bite you, and there's so much damage. But then, I mean, I play Kingdom Hearts now on the hardest difficulty level, so you can't play around at all during the game. But especially when you get to her, all the enemies and bosses get much harder.
Yeah, it definitely is. I do like the Keyblade though. It's kind of a nice ode to an under the sea theme. I am a fan of it. As far as the stats, it did have a bit more strength and it had a magic point, so it was a pretty solid Keyblade in my opinion.
Yeah, I think most of the Keyblades you get while the story's going on in the first one, they're kind of prompting you. You need to change your new Keyblade because they're going to be stronger. There'll be one in there that's like less strength, more magic, that a strength user is probably just going to pass on it. But most of the Keyblades consistently increase their stats until towards the end when you're getting the side ones.
Okay. Doctor will be right back, just checking on something. So let's go into Halloween Town. Oh, actually, let's rate this world real quick. We have a couple more worlds to do. Yeah, a 1 from me, 1 from Vanessa. What about you, Lieutenant?
A 3.5.
3.5. All right. What about you, Jacob?
I'll give it a 2.5.
Oh, okay. Shadow.
I'm torn between 3 and 3.5. I liked what the Keyblade did. I just didn't care for the design. I think it was too simplistic for me.
Okay.
I wanted this to also, since it's water themed, be more intense, like the Monstro one.
Right.
And I felt like it was just a little simple with a crab, so I was just like, eh. So I'll say, oh hell, I'll give it a 3.5 because I was also a magic user.
Oh, right.
So the
That was
world
more
served
magic.
me. I felt validated, choosing that route.
Right, right. Okay, so next our world, which was actually the winner of our poll by a lot. Actually, I think another one was very close behind it, but we have Halloween Town, which was a fan favorite. One of my favorites as well, even though I didn't watch the movie. I never had watched the movie till I played this game. I'm gonna be honest. It was a little too scary for me as a kid, but I do love this one. So our first tweet says, "Loved every moment of Halloween Town. The look, the feel, the music. Just loved every moment of it." And what do you guys think? What's your opinions on Halloween Town?
Well, the little goth boy in me absolutely loves Halloween World.
Right.
It's one of my favorites. Obviously, just the aesthetic just really pleased me. I love Nightmare Before Christmas a lot. So
Right. We do have. I'll read another tweet and then have someone else comment. So, one toxic pixel. Doctor, would you like to read that?
Yep. 1 second. I just put down Discord for just
No,
a
you're
second.
good. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked how we kind of got to change an outfit and be a little Halloweeny. So, I thought it was
One
cool.
toxic pixel
That's
said,
cool.
okay, you need to talk about Halloween Town, easily one of the best, and of course Atlantica, the worst.
I forgot about that.
Halloween Town had great music, great characters, fun story, beautiful maps. Atlantica had stupid underwater gameplay and was a dumb rhythm game in the second game. Yikes.
Oh my! I forgot that they commented on the Atlantica thing. I should have put that there. But I mean, Lieutenant, you looked like you had something to say about Halloween Town. What's your thoughts?
So Halloween Town, I think, was the easy button for this game for the developers. They know the cult classic with The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's not like there's a video game out there that makes it super popular. And I think putting the time that they did into making that world not feel kind of empty, they kind of filled it in with different design features. You had a lot more area to go. The whole area when you're going up to Oogie Boogie's manor, right, or mansion or whatever they call it, it's quite a large place. Even the final boss, where you're fighting a building that he becomes, it's just it's really they put a lot of time and effort, I think, into making that world, which made it feel a lot more open, especially since it followed up right after Atlantica,
Yeah,
which was open, very open, and lots of different rooms to go into, but it still somehow felt claustrophobic, and I think that's because you're like under the water and in caves most of the time.
right.
So yeah, I think Halloween Town is, I think, my second favorite world. So it's a good place to go.
Right. So we have one last tweet about Halloween Town. So Halloween Town, The Nightmare Before Christmas is my favorite movie of all time, and the fight with Oogie Boogie is my favorite boss in the series. Did have a good fight
Great
with Oogie
boss.
Boogie. Yeah, it was a pretty good one. Jacob, Shadow, Vanessa, what do you guys have to say about Halloween Town?
The fight with Oogie Boogie for sure was a lot of fun. I liked how it incorporated a roulette wheel, but that's because I grew up around casinos. So
Oh, yeah.
So tough too, by
I
the
know
way.
what that is.
You're
The
like,
first fight,
ah!
I wanted Sora's outfit.
Yes.
yeah.
Like, I wanted to rock that. That's what I wanted to dress up for, like, for the following Halloween after that.
Hell yeah. I haven't really seen many cosplays in conventions. I'm sure there's some online of this cosplay. It is a pretty good one. I think it's pretty interesting. So,
And I'm a huge like horror and zombie and like fan. And Halloween is by far
Same.
probably my favorite or second favorite holiday. So I mean this was easy for me. And that Keyblade is just dope.
right. Yeah, I love the Keyblade. It's um yeah, I love the aesthetic of it, especially now because I do love this movie now that I've watched it a lot of times. But Jacob, do you have any opinions about Halloween Town?
So like the first time I played it, I hadn't watched a movie, so I didn't really have anything to go off of. But like I enjoyed the world so much, I was like, okay, I gotta actually see the movie for myself. Like definitely like the Oogie Boogie boss fight. That was like probably my favorite in the game. Just as far as the Disney worlds in the first Kingdom Hearts games, like I wasn't a big fan of most of them, but I thought this one they did a really good job with it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and then we had a couple tweets about the Keyblade itself. So, Genova's witness, I always have a hard time saying her name. Pumpkin
I
hit.
love that
Such
name.
an
I do
awesome
too.
name.
Pumpkinhead hit different because Halloween Town was my favorite. LOL. We also had another tweet that said, "I always like Pumpkinhead. It looked like it could do some serious damage." Which, hell yeah. Um, but let's go ahead and rate because we have a couple more worlds left. So I give this one a 5. What about you, Vanessa?
Give it a 5 too. Like Doctor, it appealed to the little goth kid inside me.
Doctor gives it a 5 as well. He's holding
Easy.
up. Yeah. What about you, Lieutenant?
4.5.
4.5. Okay. Jacob?
I will second that.
I give it a 5.
Okay, so we got 4.5s and 5s out of this one, which I think everyone agrees. It was our winner for the fan favorite. We'll go into this one really quick, and then it's our ending world. So Neverland, I'm just gonna say I really liked Neverland because you can fly, and also we got to see Kyrie again, which I was a huge Kyrie fan.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was just kind of a big thing. We do have one tweet. I put Neverland because every night when I'd stop, I'd save and teleport to the clock tower and just fly around the night sky listening to the music, and it was so magical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that tweet.
nice little
She's so
memory.
right though.
Yeah, so I think that was a really sweet one. I mostly liked it just because you saw Kyrie and you really got into the plot. That was like the point of like no return. You were like, oh shit, I'm here. Here I am. So, what did you guys think?
Captain Hook, man,
Uh,
that boss fight could really irritate me when I
Mhm.
was playing this as a noob. God, I still look back at those ships flying around, those Heartless that are like pirate ships. It used to irritate the Can we not swear again? I
no, we
forgot.
can swear. I've been swearing.
Yeah, we
Okay.
dropped a few F-bombs.
Irritate the freaking shit out of me, man. I enjoyed the world, but again, there's another claustrophobic world. We like Neverland because with the clock tower and flying, but that was like literally less than 2% of that actual world. In the first one, Neverland was you were on the pirate ship, correct?
Right.
You weren't in Neverland like in the second one, which I there is some confusion there. Pirate ship is all you got, and the clock tower, and I think that was it. And that pirate ship, those rooms were very small. Sometimes the camera was really difficult, which is one thing we really didn't discuss yet was the camera controls.
Right.
When you're in a small room, that game used to irritate me.
I do remember
for
that.
its camera issues, but you could grind really well. It was the one world that you could get some level ups in that didn't require you to go to Olympus Coliseum and
Right.
fight because the difficulty level again right after the last with Atlantica kind of like stepped up. You got a lot of experience for those little pirate heartless fuckers, man. So yeah, good gameplay, good level up, good skill up world, but it was a bit small.
Right. And so here's something I did want to mention during this time. Peter Pan is Scottish. I don't know if anyone knows that. Peter Pan is so Scottish. The English stole him from us. So there's actually a Peter Pan museum where the author created Peter Pan. It's down in Dumfries. It's not far from me. I've been there many times. It's beautiful. Peter Pan is Scottish. Okay, just gotta
Well,
add
Peter
that.
Pan is Scottish and St. Patrick is English, so as long as we,
Peter Pan is Scottish, though. We are all very angry up here in Scotland that he is not represented as a Scot. So I just wanted to add that as my Scottish self. But yeah, I liked it. I mean, Jacob, Doctor, Vanessa, what do you guys have to say? Shadow.
This world hit the romantic in me.
Did it?
Seeing Kyrie again, I was just like total. I was like, like I was resonating with Sora, and I was like, oh, I have a crush on her, dude. You gotta get her, man.
Go
Yeah.
get him.
Yeah.
I had trouble with the battle system. I would always accidentally hit the button to fly, so I'll be in the middle of attacking.
Yes!
And then all of a sudden I'm in the air.
Yep.
Lord have mercy on our souls. Yes, that was horrible. I do remember that. But I mean, does anyone else have any opinions before we go rate and go on to our final worlds?
I like the story part and like the flying, but I liked how like kind of like Monstro, you see Riku and like he's just gone to the dark side now, and like he's Kyrie and Sora's like just the connection between Sora and Kyrie. It's kind of like forgotten about for like the rest of the game up until then. We just hear it mention it, but now you actually see Kyrie. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and that was a thing. She was there, and we hadn't seen her really.
Yeah.
Gotta get her.
Gotta get her. Yeah, and that's the thing. I Shadow, like you, I was very romantic about it, and I actually really preferred Riku and Kyrie together, and I thought seeing him with her.
No.
No.
I'm sorry.
Punched in the throat, and just like kicked to the curb. Get out of here.
Oh my
Kyrie
god.
She needs somebody that she can bring home to her parents.
I don't know. I think Riku is a much better character sometimes. Now that I'm older,
Riku
when I was
wouldn't
younger,
take care of her, man.
No.
Riku would be like, "Woman, you stay 3 paces behind me." That's what Riku would do.
Mary, I
man.
thought
She
I
don't
told
need
you
that.
to wait in the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's Riku, man.
Riku's like, are you seriously wearing that when we're going out?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yep, exactly.
Riku's a
Ultra
wife beater.
jealous, ultra possessed.
I guess you're right.
Riku,
Yeah.
Riku is
Riku up.
toxic masculinity. There
Riku
you
is
go.
New Jersey personified.
Okay,
Okay.
Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1 though.
Wow.
I went there. That was for you.
Oh my god. I give this world a 4. What about you guys? Vanessa.
A 3. I
Uh,
definitely wanted to see more of Neverland, not just
Awesome.
the pirate ship.
Doctor, you give it a
I'm
4.
giving it a 4 because I actually really love the flying feature, and I feel like I did really good with it.
Right.
And also, it had that. If I don't think we talked about it, but really quick, I want to slide this in. There was that mini game in this where you had to keep bouncing the Heartless up and down.
Oh,
Does everybody remember what I'm
I don't
talking
remember
about?
that.
Yeah, the
blue
mushroom.
truffles?
Oh.
That it was
One of the
really hard
truffles,
in this
yes.
world. The truffles, yeah. And you had to do it 100 times, I think. There's something with it.
Oh
Oh,
my lord.
yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Doing it in Neverland's easier because you can fly and you just like
Yes, and you can
Yep.
get them into the corner. Yep.
yeah.
I don't
exactly.
remember that, so I'm glad you guys brought that up.
I hated that.
Those blue and yellow ones, right? Because there were several different
Yeah.
types of truffles. One of them
Yep.
would turn to stone. It would take forever to kill it. And one of them you had to bounce it. That bouncing motherfucker. Yeah, you had to do that in Neverland, man.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was
god.
called a rare truffle, and it was.
That's
But
nice.
wasn't there an ultimate boss that you could fight at the clock tower?
Yes.
And
There
that mother-
was.
He was so hard.
Oh
Yeah.
god, Jacob, tell us more.
Was he optional?
Yes, he was optional.
It was optional, so like it was one of the bosses you can just play after you beat the game, but it's just like you have to
Oh.
basically use every ability that you can like possibly think of, and just like he'll kill Donald and Goofy in seconds if you don't just
Yep.
equip everyone with
Oh my god. I don't
shoot,
remember
what
that.
was it? I don't know. It was
Yeah, he was
intense.
like this game's Ruby weapon.
Wow.
Mm.
Because I never went back for the the super bosses, but kind of glad because that final boss kicked my ass.
He made Sephiroth look easy.
Oh, no!
Like
Well, that's saying something.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is
this
saying
dude,
something.
This dude was rough. Hey, can you
Yeah.
check your guide real quick? And what was his name?
Phantom.
Oh,
Yeah,
Vanessa,
yeah.
Vanessa and her guides.
Yeah, there
Yes.
he is. There's that motherfucker.
What a
Oh,
motherfucker. He
Yeah.
looks hard.
Faceless mother effer.
Lieutenant,
Mhm.
what do you rate this world?
Oh, I haven't given a rating, have I? I'm gonna go with
Oh, this guy.
3.
3. Jacob,
I'm gonna give it a 4.
4. Shadow.
Yeah, it gets a 4 from me.
That's pretty neat, yeah. All right. So now we're back to our final world. So we have Hollow Bastion, which I forgot to include in the poll, where we get Oblivion, which a lot of people said about Oblivion. This one's beautiful. It reminds me of a Master Sword. It is just gorgeous. A lot of people really liked Oblivion. If I did a poll, this one probably would have won.
Yes.
Best one for sure.
Hollow Bastion was where, oh shit, things really got intense.
Things
Sora,
got messed up.
things got fucked up. I loved this world. I forgot it was part of it. But I mean,
My
God,
only 5.
that's when you realize this isn't a kid's game anymore at this part. Like, you just are like,
I
oh,
think they figured kids aren't gonna get that far in a game.
that's true.
This world reminded me so much of like the Final Fantasy world. If I had to give it to one of them, the elevators, the different environments, everything in this world was fantastic. It took a long time, and they combined it with Beasts, kind of like almost like a Beast Castle kind of thing. Although you got Beast Castle later, but that's where Beast was. You had the library, you had to find books and stuff. You lost your party members. Like, so much stuff happened in this world.
It was like,
It was definitely the best.
oh
for
my
me,
gosh.
anyway.
Yeah, and then this tweet says, Oblivion, it is hauntingly beautiful, and it is a kick-ass name to boot. It's perfect. Chef kiss. I agree. But
Agreed.
yeah, Hollow Bastion is, I just remember like getting to that part and Sora stabbing himself and just shit going nuts, and I was like, ah! Like, it just, as a child, I mean, what does everybody else remember about it?
Much
I just-
happens.
What?
yeah.
I was just saying, like, so much happens in that world when I think of it.
It's intense, like every second of it. There's not a second that goes by in that game other than wandering around where you're like, where you're chill for a second. This is
Just all have that like dark flashback of like not defeating Riku and just having to watch that long cutscene over and over.
Oh God, I remember that as well.
I'm glad
Oh,
the remix
man.
let you skip cutscenes because
Yeah. Oh my
that's
god.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say specifically fighting the Riku fight there was just I lost on it so often, and there's such a long cutscene right before it.
Oh my god. I do
And I was
remember
just
that.
like hitting myself in the head with the controller, like every time I lost.
I don't want to hear it.
Like, I don't care anymore.
Shadow, what say
Yeah.
you?
Shadow.
Oh, my mic. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Honestly, like I was really happy seeing the Beast. That's basically like I connect with Beast a lot. I feel like
Oh,
if
we
he
just
is
got
me,
raided.
I am him.
What's that?
Oh my god, we just got raided.
What does that mean?
That
Somebody tell
means
me what that means.
so everybody viewing Drowned Summer's stream is now here. So
Oh,
thank
wow.
you,
Okay.
Drowned Summer, for raiding. This is awesome. All right, we're talking about Hollow Bastion. Perfect time.
Does that
So
mean we gotta fight? We gotta beat
we
up
gotta
all these
fight.
people?
We gotta.
Yes, play the battle music.
Oh, I need to get music for next time. We first got to figure out this
Catch these
before.
hands.
Catch
I
these
don't want
hands.
it unless it's an orchestra and in Latin.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You already have your theme song.
Hell yeah. The Drowned Summer, Hollow Bastion, the one you left off the list. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
And
I
here's-
would read that with like bitterness in it.
Here's the thing with Hollow Bastion, with that poll that I do, because I can't fit everything into a Twitter poll. I have to use that one, and I can't edit it. So it's just like, fuck. So I'm just like, and of course the one that I don't do is the one everyone's obsessed with.
So
Like,
important. It's the best.
I know, and I
Yes,
forgot. I'm
fantastic.
horrible. Thank you everyone for coming. Did we get another Keyblade in this world? Because we have at the end there's just a shit ton of Keyblades.
Divine Rose.
Divine Rose. I did not
Yeah.
include Divine Rose. I forgot. I think I just ran out of time to include a picture, but that's because you talked to Beast, right? Or Belle. You talked to Belle, right?
Pretty strong Keyblade, that one.
Yeah, for sure. I give this world a 5, a 10 out of 5 because I just what?
It's my
So
favorite.
Vanessa gives it a 5. Doctor gives it a 5. Lieutenant, what do you give it?
A 5. Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite world in the first one.
Right, Jacob.
So beautiful.
Oh my god,
I give it
300.
5.
The 8 out of 10.
A 3.5.
Vanessa keeps
358
pulling
over
up this
2 days
card that says
rating.
358 over 2 days. Shadow, what about you?
Oh, it definitely gets a 5. It was really like the placement of it in the game, and with the story. They just chef's kiss. I mean, they did such a fantastic job bringing us here, jamming all of this down our throat, like the roller coaster that it put us through here.
Yeah.
And they did a fantastic job with Hollow Bastion.
Oh, hell
yeah,
The
yeah.
358 over 2 days rating from Vanessa just now, but by the way, I mean, this is the world that Roxas was created. So
Oh, it's Roxas Conception.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jacob, did you rate? Did I skip you on accident?
I gave it a 5.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
but
unanimous.
but then we go and we have Kyrie. We've saved Kyrie. I'm trying to find the right, and we get a Keyblade because we talk to her. So not only is it the ultimate Keyblade that
that's
we get,
the Oath Keeper that you get
the
from
Oath
Kyrie.
Keeper. That's right, because it's the Oath, and
Interestingly enough, the Oblivion and Oath Keeper Keyblades is what Roxas holds when he dual wields.
that's what I was gonna mention. So not only
I
do you
did
get
not catch that.
Yep.
yeah. So it's Oblivion and Oathkeeper, the worlds you get where he was born, which
Yep.
I just made that connection when you said it because I was like, Roxas uses these. I wonder why. But Kyrie gives you Oathkeeper, which this is a classic Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts for me, honestly. Especially when Roxas is using it. Yeah, it was amazing. It's amazing to see it, and it's appeared so many times. I mean, what do we have to say about Oathkeeper? About how we got it? I think how we got it is the most important part.
I like the design is great. I feel like it's more magic because Oblivion takes magic away, doesn't it?
I have a note. So
Or is it just 0?
Oblivion
it's
is -1 MP.
-1, but it's like
Yeah.
11
Yeah, it's
strength, right?
11 strength and
Strong.
-1 MP. Oathkeeper
Yeah,
on the
for you
other
hack and
hand.
slashers
Mhm.
of this game, like you guys probably got Oblivion and never unequipped it unless you got
Hell
the
yeah.
ultimate weapon. Like
Never
you
Hell
just
yeah.
kept- yeah. So magic users might have kept Oathkeeper on instead, but those are the two. Like if you're not going ultimate, you're doing one of those two.
Right.
I would like to give myself a pat on the back that Kingdom Hearts 1 was the very first game I 100% completed, so I did in
No
fact
way.
get the Ultima Keyblade.
Oh
And
my
that took
God.
some work. Or
Yes,
Chocums, man.
I did both Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I have 100% completed.
Concrete.
One of the trophies, like you can't change your equipment.
Yes.
Oh man.
And the
Right.
only word, I mean, the best one to do that is on an easy mode, but there's another trophy that you have to beat it in the critical mode or whatever. So you're playing through the game more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because I can't imagine you can do a no changing Keyblade or equipment run on critical mode.
Critical, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, I wouldn't put myself through that kind of hell.
So Concrete Donkey says Oblivion, definitely an awesome Keyblade. I think a lot of people
For
agree.
fact.
Oath Keeper did get a couple tweets. So we did get one tweet from Demir K. If you want to go ahead and read that, Doctor.
Yep. Oathkeeper and Lionheart. Oathkeeper because saving Kyrie was just meaningful as a kid. Lionheart was just dope because it was fucking Squall who gave it to you.
Right. So we will talk about those Keyblades in a minute, but I mean, gosh, Shadow, we're talking about the romantic side of this game and how we were so excited. So how did you feel about like getting this Keyblade from Kyrie after you save her life and she's like back?
Yeah, I mean, I was all over it. I was like, okay, now they can get married, even though they're kids. That's okay.
Now kiss. Like, yeah, for sure.
Like now she's gonna stay by his side, and he's never gonna leave her side, and he's never gonna fuck up again.
Right.
Yeah.
Screw Riku.
Screw Riku, yeah, and
That's really the takeaway here. Screw Riku. We don't.
right. So other than Oathkeeper, I do want to talk about the ultimate weapon too. So I never got the ultimate weapon in Kingdom Hearts 1. I did get it in 2 because it's just kind of included, isn't it? Like, so
No, synthesis was much more fun into, I would say, and it kept track of the stuff that you got. But yeah, you definitely had to grind in both games to get the big
right.
Keyblade.
So this was our final world. So end of the world at the very end of the game, and you do get Ultima once you completely finish the game. You don't get it automatically. So we did have a tweet about from Dave. He says at the end of the world, mainly because it's absolutely soaked in atmosphere and that theme song. This is where Chernobog shows up, right?
Yes, and he's not easy either.
He's fucking horrible.
It's kind of similar to when you fight Ursula, just harder.
Yes, he's just harder.
I will
but you're
never forget
stronger
that.
by that time, so
Yeah.
But I will never forget him just like raining down hell on you. And Chernobog's from
Literally.
Fantasia, which is a very
Yes.
old Disney movie, very very old. But he's literally an embodiment of Satan. So it was just weird.
Yeah.
But Chernobog was horrible. I remember that one. Oh my god. I mean, what were your guys' feelings about the end of the world? This was like an intense area. The world's ending. The world's ended at this point. Yeah, so and then I think we had some tweets about Ultima. So Alto says, for me, Oathkeeper, while not associated with the world, you could argue maybe Destiny. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's great for magic, strength, and crits. Bonus, and I love that boost from KH2, so this one did appear more than once. So, yeah, I don't know. It's almost speechless, these last two worlds, because they just had such an impact on the game. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I definitely felt like some nostalgia visiting all the old worlds and like getting copies of those accessories there. That was kind of cool. It kind of was like a nice look back on the.
Oh, fuck. Hello?
yeah, we're still here.
Oh, sorry. I don't know
we're
what happened there. Okay, we're good.
It's just the pictures are messed up.
No,
so
it's
we
fine.
should probably make an announcement. Doctor is having some tornado related issues, so he's going to need to jump off the stream.
Doctor is entering the end of the world himself.
Yes.
and
Yes.
He needs to
So-
help him.
So by him hanging up, it kind of messed up the order.
No
but
problem.
we can still press.
We're almost done anyways. We have
Yeah.
one more, three more, but we're going to include it into just one thing. So we do have the final Keyblades, not the final Keyblades, I'll say, but we do have the Final Fantasy themed Keyblades. So we have, let me get them up. We have, I included them in one. Sorry, I'm trying to find them. We have the Lionheart, we have the One-Winged Angel, and we have the Metal Chocobo. So I just wanted to leave off on those since we've been talking about Final Fantasy the last 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, you had to really go through some lengths to finish this one. Like, some intense stuff. Oh, we're all messed up, but it's fine. We're almost done. So, I never got these. Did you guys get these?
The Lionheart. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Vanessa. You first.
I think I got everyone except for the One-Winged Angel one. And
I could see why.
The Lionheart one out of the three is my favorite. I love that the Griever is on the end.
Yep.
And
Right. A lot of people said like how sexy this one was. Like all the comments about Lionheart were like, Lionheart, what a sexy Keyblade.
oh
I'm like, yeah, it really
I agree.
is.
It is sexy.
It is.
Yep.
It's a sexy
so
one.
beautiful.
Especially since
Like
I'm
the
an
middle,
8 fan.
Hmm.
But I mean,
absolutely.
to beat Sephiroth to have to get that Keyblade, I don't know if I'd do it. Is it that great? I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
need my
d-
friends to come help me.
I
Yeah.
didn't beat Sephiroth to get the Keyblade. In fact, when I finally did beat Sephiroth, the Keyblade itself was superfluous because I didn't even know I was going to get it. And when you got it, if you already had Ultimate Weapon, which you probably should have had if you were fighting Sephiroth, the One Winged Angel was not going to help you at all. You already had the best Keyblade in the game. But for collectors, I guess it's kind of a cool thing. But style-wise, no, my vote's on Lionheart. I like Lionheart the best. It's not the strongest one on there, but it looks the best in my opinion.
Speaking of
But I do.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of Lionheart, Concrete Donkey asked, the metal chocobo, just from the aesthetics point of view, is beautiful. How do you get it? Lieutenant, you know how do you get it, right?
Cloud gave it to you
Yeah.
after you beat him in one of the, isn't it?
Hercules Cup.
Yeah, in the Hercules Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, because all these are from the Hercules stuff. So,
Yeah, when you beat that one cup, you'll get the metal chocobo, and when you beat Cloud and Squall in the was maybe the Hades.
yeah, the Hades Cup.
I think it's the Hades Cup is when you get Lionheart.
Right. Yeah, so we have some. I never really realized it in Kingdom Hearts 1 how expansive these worlds are. I did not play for the expanse or the open worldness or even like the collecting the Keyblades. I literally just played for the story. I was more into Kingdom Hearts 2. I have like Kingdom Hearts 2 like the back of my hand. But it was really fun researching these again because I don't know how many years it's been since I played this game. I mean, how about you guys? I mean,
I picked it up again like right before 7 Remake came out. I was like, oh, I'll catch up on Kingdom Hearts while I'm waiting.
right.
In the year or two leading up to 3's release, I went back and played all of them from 1 Birth by Sleep to
I did the same thing.
I even cracked open the DS version I have of 358/2, and I played through that as well. So I watched all in order, in chronological order, and then I played 3 when it released. So that could be why I don't have that many problems understanding the plot of 3.
Maybe.
Because I literally grinded through the entire story leading up and then played it the very next day.
Right.
So I prepped for it.
So Jacob and Shadow, I mean, what do you guys, your opinions about the Keyblades, the games, everything that's been going on? Because I mean, we just covered a small fraction of this entire franchise, but what's your guys' thoughts?
I don't know if you want to go first, Shadow.
You're good, dude. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I mean, I think everything's pretty much been covered, but I mean, like, I'd agree with the Lionheart like being the best one.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're just asking me just overall what we've gone over, or just like the
In general,
Keyblades.
yeah, because I didn't ask you guys about these 3 Keyblades. I'm like, there's been so many Keyblades, that we've had to talk about. So, I mean, anything that we just say, I mean, I don't even know if I'd want to replay Kingdom Hearts 1 because I do remember that final boss and how difficult it was, and I don't know if I want to go through that again. But it's just such a great game. It really kind of was a change in the whole RPG world. But I mean, what else do you guys have? Some finishing thoughts about Kingdom Hearts 1 and all the worlds and the beginning of this very big game?
I just wanted to talk about the metal chocobo.
Do it.
As a magic user, like I couldn't use it. But aesthetically, I actually liked it. It reminded me a lot of the Buster Sword, and chocobos. I love chocobos. So like when I got that, I was like, oh, cool. They touched on all the different like aesthetic styles that I could have wanted in this game. Like you had floral swords, and you had like smooth like Lionheart. Like that was a smooth ass sexy sword. That's like a
Yep.
it's like a sexy gun, like but metal chocobo is like if you have a rocket launcher. So that's what I appreciated about that.
Right. Some things from the chat, just from Drowned Summer. He's saying that I didn't recall Ansem being that bad. The bosses in 3, however. Yeah. I thought Ansem was horrible because he had all those parts you had to beat. Oh my gosh. Ah!
Yeah, there was a lot of rounds into that battle. But I feel like a lot of them were kind of easy. But if you were playing them on hard, yeah, it was rough. But
Yeah.
it was just long and drawn out.
Right. Maybe I should try it again because they've revamped these games so many times. You can get them on any system now, honestly. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's such a crazy world. There's so many things about it, and it's definitely wasn't. I don't think it was taken very seriously at its time because it is partly a Disney game. But I think nowadays it is very serious. I don't know what you guys think about that. But Concrete Donkey also says got it memorized. Yes, Axel. I wish he was in one. Got it memorized.
Same.
So unfortunately, because we've had technical difficulties starting out, we've had one of our members has a tornado coming in his town, so he had to leave suddenly. So we are gonna end the stream. We've covered all of our subjects, but does anyone have any finishing thoughts or anything before we head off?
Yeah, give me a game where it's just like husband simulator for Kyrie and Sora.
Oh my
And
gosh. Literally.
where I get to like bake food, like bake a cake for her and just like make her happy and like, yeah, I'm like, we're not going anywhere. We're
Concrete
just chilling.
Donkey says, I heard that there might be a Kingdom Hearts show on Disney Plus. I heard this too. It is not confirmed. I guess it was a fake article from what I've heard. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know how I feel about a Kingdom Hearts show on Disney Plus.
I
I
would-
think if it was an anime, it'd be cool, but a live action show would be like
Anime,
Stupid.
definitely.
An anime,
And so
yeah.
Square Enix is involved
sure.
with one of my favorite animes called High Score Girl. Also
Oh.
hits my romantic side.
Oh,
So I
man,
feel
that's
like
a good
if that team, right, and I feel like if they got that team involved with a Kingdom Hearts anime, I'd be all about it.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm one who takes everything. Somebody who creates something and puts it out there for people, even if it's something like, for example, if they decide to do a live action Kingdom Hearts, I could go into that and take it for its face value and judge it on itself and its own merits. I'm blessed with the ability to not prejudge squat. So I mean, if they do that and they think that that's something, I'm gonna be just as engaged and want to see how it is, and I hope it would turn out well because I think that's what the rumor is that it's a live action.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do so much more animated because you can just make the characters do whatever you want.
Right.
And I'd be interested
And
to
the
see how
world could be better
what's that?
animated. The worlds, they could
The
be more
world
alive.
could potentially be, but we can do a lot with technology, and I think I would be down for any type of Kingdom Hearts media TV show or whatever. I feel like a movie might be, or movie series could even work. But
Right.
there's a lot of story there.
Yeah, there definitely is, and I know that the mangas cover a little bit more of the plot than the games do. I never read the mangas or the mangas, but I know that there's just such a universe behind this game. Not even all the spin-offs, but the mangas, and if there was a movie, you'd know that they'd be adding shit that we don't know about, and we'd have to go back and refer to the movie. Like it's just such an expansive world. I
some
can't.
of the fanfics are canon.
Yeah, some of the fanfics. It's just like intent. Like they literally took things. They're just like, yes,
Yeah.
sure, you do you, boo, like that kind of thing. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy game, and covering it, I was like, oh god, we really can't do everything. So we just picked a very small fraction of what we could do. But I mean, does it one more thing, anyone else have anything to say before we cut off? We good?
The only thing I'd add is just visiting the worlds for the first time in the series had kind of like a charm to it.
Yeah, it
You
did.
play the later installments, you kind of get more like they've done this a few times, but just happening the first time was just like a certain charm to it.
It definitely
It was a
did.
very special experience for the first time. Like,
Yeah.
nothing like that had ever been done before. It was an amazing like merging between these two brands and worlds and universes that you love.
Yep.
And I thought it was a huge success with me.
Right. Yeah, it definitely was with me too. It is a game that I will even though 3 wasn't the best, it is something I will always love. So, um I think a lot of people feel the same about Kingdom Hearts. So
Also, Lego Spaceship.
oh, the
That I
gummy
really
ship.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost
Love
forgot about
the
that.
gummy.
The
I
gummy
spent
ship.
a lot of time building my gummy ships.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Plural.
Dude. Yeah,
Like
I
I
have
could totally be down for like I think I've said this before too, like a Kingdom Hearts like multiverse kind of game, like Mass Effect, where you're spending a lot more time in space or whatever. I'd be happy with that too. I love those kind of.
Drowned Summer says that Gummy was the best in the first. I agree. It kind of lost its
Yeah,
charm throughout the
Fact.
games.
yeah. I'm talking specifically about the first, like the way I felt about the gummy experience in the first game was like
Pre-made
oh,
gummy ships in the second one was good enough for me.
Yeah.
But building from scratch, I did that crap all the time in the first one.
Right. All right, so here's where we're gonna end it. Thank you to everyone who came in. So, Drowned Summer, thank you for coming in with your viewers. If someone was waiting for us for an hour while we were figuring things out with our new layout, which things should get better, we have a brand new layout, so we're just kind of figuring it out. A tornado came through, but we'll be fine. It's oh gosh, it's just been a mess of a day. But thank you guys for coming. We hope you can come next week. We will be going back to Final Fantasy Antagonist
will
8.
Doctor come back or will he become
Will
a
he
heart?
be in the tornado? Oh God, I hope not. We
Yep.
need him.
Yeah.
He's our tech person. He's the one that's like looking into everything. But Concrete Donkey, great stream, guys. Can't wait for more Final Fantasy. Yes, so we will be covering 8 through
Cool.
15 next time. So, all right. Thanks so much, you guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Ciao.